hear nothing go off.
Yeah, it usually be saying, "Boo."
Yeah, we would have heard it.
Well, he heard it.
And it don't set this early unless somebody in here said.
And Troy was
So
here before
somebody
we.
who had to repair like about August.
I understand. It sure is.
Well, the only thing I'm here, I'm not misogynistic,
So
but
it's almost a year. That's how long?
Hey, Troy, it sure is.
It is.
56. They give me no notification.
Oh, there we go. I'm looking at my phone.
Phone's cracking.
Go off with something, go off at the city.
Yep.
there we go. All right, I guess we'll get started. I know it doesn't look like anyone else is going to come in. You ladies have already heard most of this presentation for the planning commission meeting.
Why I got it.
Yeah, I have a couple of extra slides, but it's pretty much the same information that you got the first time for the planning commission. So this is a location at the corner of, or the, I guess the southeast corner of, southwest, thank you, corner of Carlisle and John Daly Road. Bear with me while I figure out. This is what it looks like from the street view. You can see the existing pump station at the corner there. Most of it is underground, and what you can see is above ground. It's going to be replaced because the existing pump station is under capacity for a project that is currently under construction, as well as it's an older pump station. There's a lot of repairs that have occurred, a lot of repairs going on just to get the pump station in running order until the new pump station is built. So before we talk about the pump station in particular, I was gonna just kind of update you with the information about the larger project that the pump station is a part of called the Eastern Outfalls CSO Elimination Project. So the purpose of that project is to eliminate overflows during really heavy rainfalls. The CSO is a combined sewer outfall. The system is designed when it gets over capacity to overflow into the lower branch of the Rouge Creek that passes through Inkster. There were a lot of cities and communities in the area who designed their sewer systems that way, and the state is making sure that everyone is taking care of those. These are the last three in the city, and the project that you see going on around your area right now is the second phase of that work. There's 4 phases total. The pump station is the 3rd phase. The first phase is a pipeline, as well as the 2nd and 4th phases. The cost of the project is a little over $42 million, and most of that is being paid for with loans and grants. There's one loan, and then there's about almost $30 million in grant money. And the city's only paying for about $3 million of that. So this is phase 1 that has been constructed, located in these streets. It was primarily combined in storm
It
sewer
was primarily storm.
and primarily storm
Yeah.
sewer.
We did some sanitary sewer rehabilitation as part of the phase.
And how big were the pipeline?
60-inch and about 4,400 feet of 60-inch sewer, and then down John Daly and up John Daly, those sizes shrank as they got farther away, but they picked up all of the storm water and carried it to Notre Dame and down to Yale.
Phase 2 is the pipeline that's being installed right now on Princess Avenue from the city limits up to about where we are near Princeton. Sydney Zales is our engineer who's overseeing that construction. She'll also be overseeing the pump station construction and the pipeline construction that will occur along with the pump station. So as I mentioned, the 3rd phase is the pump station, and the 4th phase are the pipelines shown here. These are a combination of storm and combined sewer pipelines. And Sydney will be overseeing that work as well, along with Dan, who is our other engineer. So the pump station itself, the purpose, as I mentioned, is to pump flows that occur on a regular basis through sanitary sewer and what we call wet weather flows when there's a large storm event. The storm water runoff is added to that sewer. The cost of the pump station alone is about $9.8 million. It sounds like the estimated start date is what?
March 15th.
March 15th, and it looks like we estimated a duration of 12 to 15 months. I know that they're going to start the actual excavation on the 15th, and the excavation is going to take, they were estimating about 2 to 3 months. And that'll be the messiest part of the construction. So what to expect during construction, you've already been hopefully provided with the usual questions. It's going to be dirty. They're going to be hauling a lot of dirt because they have to dig a pretty deep hole. It's going to be noisy because there's going to be a lot of machinery involved. The city plans to enforce the noise ordinance, so they're only working between certain hours of the day and not on weekends unless absolutely necessary. They'll be sweeping the streets as needed. They'll also be using water to keep the dust down whenever they can. And you'll have contact information, so if you feel like it's getting to be too much, you can contact any one of those people on the flyer that was passed out to you. And then we also have that information here tonight that you can get. What to expect after, I guess the other things during construction are your traffic will be limited on occasion in and around the construction site, and then you may be asked to not park on the streets, not only for the pump station construction, but also the pipeline construction as it comes by the streets that they're going to be doing construction in. And then I think there may be also interruptions to water services. If your water service needs to be replaced, you'll get notification of when that'll happen prior to it occurring, so you can be prepared. And then you won't be out of water for more than a few hours, half a day at most. Unless something goes wrong, and then you'll be notified, and bottled water will be provided if it's going to be longer than that.
And then garbage should remain unchanged. Every so often there's hiccups. We get a lot of, from the drivers, they choose to stay away from the construction zone, which is always a headache. But generally the contractor helps work with the city and make sure the garbage gets collected. The city will also tell the garbage men to please come back and get these streets. Things like that should remain relatively unchanged. Of course, the hardest part with that is the street Carlisle and John Daly are both going to be concrete streets, and that requires a certain amount of time to remove what's there, and then of course replace what's there, and the concrete takes that time. So there will be a period of time where people may have to park away. We'll do our best to phase it so it's as minimally disruptive as possible, but there will certainly be impacts during that time.
So what to expect after construction? I know we talked about what happens if the city loses power or the area loses power. There's a backup generator there that would come on, and it will probably make noise. It's also going to cycle on for a certain period of time, once a week, as a maintenance, preventative maintenance, routine maintenance activity. And it might make some noise. There are some noise reduction measures that are being put in place. One is a dampener that comes as part of the mount for the generator, and then the other is, as we discussed, the wall that's around it. Wall is taller than the city's ordinance, so the city's going to have to ask the zoning board for a variance so that they can build that wall. The city staff believes it's worth building and getting the variance because it's going to prevent noise or reduce the amount of noise on the site. I know there are concerns about odor, and it's hard to say whether that'll be a problem. The only time we expect it to maybe be a problem is during a really high weather event. The more water there is, the more trash that gets collected inside there. The trash is removed from the flow and put into a dumpster, and the dumpster will sit until it's ready to be picked up. So the city's going to need to monitor during a wet weather event, how quickly the trash builds up and how often they may need to pick it up. On a regular basis, the pickup may be just once a week or less, depending on how much trash is collected. So until we go through a couple of wet weather events, it's going to be hard to tell.
I have a question. Go back to where you say something about the paved, the streets. I didn't quite understand what you said about that.
So after they install the pipelines,
Okay.
they're going to need to repave the streets.
Okay, because I live right on Carlisle. Okay.
Yep. So you will most likely, we can go back to that slide, but there is a pipeline that comes down Carlisle.
Okay.
And the street may be closed for a while so that they can prep everything and pave it, and then you can't park on it right away, so.
Yeah, so during construction, they'll remove the pavement, but you'll still have access to your home.
I sure hope so.
There'll be there'll be like a temporary driveway, so it won't be a nice pristine one. And then during construction, they should pave part of it,
Okay.
and then let that set up, and then they'll flip and do the other side and let that set up. So there will be roughly 2 weeks where you won't be able to access your driveway
Okay.
while the concrete cures. Actually, it'll be a little bit more because the driveway then would also need to get poured.
Okay.
So somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks will be the inconvenience, the significant inconvenience of not being able to park in the driveway.
The driveway will be what now? The driveway will be what now?
It will, so because the road changes, the up and down of the road changes a little bit, your driveway won't quite match. So we're gonna go up to the sidewalk with a brand new driveway.
Oh, so everybody on the street is gonna get a new driveway?
Yep, up to the sidewalk.
A part of it, yeah.
Up to the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
between the
that
street and the
portion.
sidewalk, yeah.
So that'll take, so once the street cures, which usually takes 2 weeks, then they'll come back and start pouring the driveways, hopefully immediately. And then that's usually a couple weeks, maybe a week to 2, before you can drive back on there.
Yeah, what about the streets? The streets are really bumpy.
The streets can be brand new as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our street is.
Not brand new, but it'll be better.
Well,
Yeah.
Carlisle, Carlisle's all new paving from Beach Daily to just west of the pump station.
So that's the main street then?
Yep,
From what street?
Carlisle, from Beach Daily
Beach Daily?
all the way to just west of the pump station will be all brand new concrete.
Yeah, Beach Daily is really, yeah.
And then John Daly will be new concrete from the north side of the intersection to, I forget the distance, maybe 100 feet or so, to the south of Carlisle. That'll be all new concrete through there.
Yeah, so all those streets that show where the pipelines are will generally be getting new paving.
Yeah, so Princess Street there, from Yale all the way down to almost Annapolis, will be all new HMA asphalt road. Meadowdale, that you see highlighted there, that'll be asphalt road. And then Carlisle will be all new concrete road.
And the reason why it's asphalt, because those are less traveled roads. And that's why I'm putting asphalt in instead of concrete.
Yep.
The main roads in the city, as you will see as I change the specs of the city, the main roads in the city will be remain concrete, but the secondary roads like side streets,
Like Meadowdale.
Street, they will be asphalt with the
But
same.
not
as-
Carlisle, because
Not
Carlisle.
Carlisle's main
Yep.
street.
Yeah,
But asphalt, it may not have the best rep, I guess, but there's some great benefits. It's very easy to maintain. With an asphalt road, if there's rehabilitation that needs to occur, you can come in, mill out that top layer, and come right behind it with the new one, and you're back in your house the same day. Whereas with concrete, you're out for 2 to 4 weeks, and it's very tough on residents. So that's why HMA, that's why I like HMA for the maintenance purpose.
You got anything else for after, what to expect after construction, new paved roads?
We're rehabilitating the water main. Nothing else that people are really gonna see. New grass, of course, new sewers.
You will see the new pump station, so let's look at that. So here is the site. John Daly Road is on the right, Carlisle is to the north, kind of off the sheet or off the slide. So I did show, think if I do that, so that is the building itself. And you can see there's a bunch of equipment inside of it. We can take a look at that later. But the other boxes, the smaller rectangle is a transformer that DTE will place. The larger rectangle is the generator, which is pretty big. It's going to be the size of a large or a small truck, I guess I should say. And then that highlighted green area that just showed up is the sound wall and screening wall, so that the neighbors will have a brick wall to look at as opposed to a generator and a transformer. And then there will be a fence all the way around it. We've called out for a vinyl fence that you can't see through. It's been suggested that maybe we get a little less expensive that you can see through if the building itself looks, nicer than we expect. But we did use a lot of architectural elements to help it blend in the neighborhood. And then there's a gate from John Daly and also a gate access from Carlisle for vehicles. This is an unmanned pump station, meaning people are going to be there just to check on the pumps and to do maintenance and operations. There's not going to be someone there the whole time. So cars may come and go. And then, as I also mentioned, there will be a trash bin or a dumpster-sized bin for waste that'll be pushed out into the parking lot so that the trash company can pick it up and empty it. So here's the elevation views. I think you've seen them. And I did bring the samples that we showed you. But if you're standing on Carlisle, you'll see the south elevation view, which is in the upper right-hand corner. If you're the neighbor that lives on the other side on John Daly, you'll see the north elevation. There's just a door entry, and of course the transformer and that screen wall will be there hiding the transformer and the generator, so you won't see probably those lower windows or that door. And then if you're looking at the west elevation, that means you're on the west side of the building. You can see the large door where the dumpster will be pushed in and out, and then double doors. And then, of course, the other side is if you're standing on John Daly Road looking.
And what is the dumpsters doing? Why is it?
So when flow comes through and into the facility,
Okay.
it goes through a screen that takes out the larger pieces of trash and branches and leaves.
Oh, okay.
And then that screen, it's on that screen, and then there's a rake that scrapes whatever gets caught by the screen all the way up, and then kind of on a conveyor belt goes into a dumpster. And the dumpster collects that. And we don't, based on some of the other well, there's only one other facility with a screen, I guess, but based on that, they don't expect to have to empty that more than once a week on a regular basis until we get higher flows during, a big rain that might come along. And then we'll, after a couple of big rain events, they'll have a feel for how often it needs to be emptied after a rain event. And I think you guys saw this as well, which is just the building, and it shows the area underneath, which is going to house the pumps. And then it'll also house like a large area that's referred to as a wet well, which will collect the flow during big rain events and sit there and let some of the sediment settle before it's pumped out and into the system. And then we did want to show the landscape plan because there will be some trees planted. The perfect circle is actually a large manhole cover, but there's going to be four trees and some shrubs that'll be planted to help the building blend in with the resident. The other places there.
Just in case it wasn't clear, where it says existing pump station on the top, all that'll be grass. It'll be just a nice, berm area.
So where that tree is right there, where you guys got it X'd off, that's off, and when that's gonna be gone grass?
Correct.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
tree
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
No.
There is one large tree there,
Yeah, there's a
on
big-
John Daly, yeah.
On John Daly?
No, it's
Yeah.
like Kyle.
I thought it was.
Is it up there
I thought it
between
was-
like by the house?
Here's my house, here's this house.
Yeah, I
Well,
thought it
my
was this
house.
one right here.
Yeah, this is my house, and then there's your property.
one with the X on it?
Yeah, your property. I could look right out my window and see the thing.
Are you south of the station? Or west of the
I'm right next
station?
to
You
it.
mean this, is that?
Is your house a John Daly address or a Carlisle address?
Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle.
Okay, so
I'm
she's
right
over on
next-
the left side.
I'm right
there.
next to you.
And it's a pretty dead looking tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be gone.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be.
I think there's
gone.
two trees out
It's
there,
two,
and when
'cause
we
there's one
looked at
on
them,
John
both of
Daly,
them
too.
looked not
Yeah.
in good shape, so we
Yeah.
just decided to
So
all
that'll
those
be all
trees.
grass
Yeah.
once you guys cut the grass.
There'll be a fence there.
Yeah, on the property line.
There'll be a fence there, and then whatever's not fenced in will be grass.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but the fence is on the property line, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
It's around the perimeter, yeah, on the
Yep.
property line.
Yeah, 'cause I wake up in the morning sometimes and I'll see the guys drive up and, yeah. And I've seen the big semi truck, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, no, they're quiet. I don't hear them enough of them. Like I said, I've lived here since November and I can't even hear a pin drop over here. No, it's really quiet
That's
over
good.
here.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I like it, yeah. Where I used to live, oh my God. It was like a, no, it was just, God, it was just, yeah. It was a nightmare.
Well, I think that's all I have. Once again, there's the contact names and who each contact person is oriented or associated with.
And that's my roots right there.
Yeah, this is my,
My
she'll be your,
project manager.
she'll be your main person to
I'm
contact.
Sweet.
I'm the girl, yep.
And then I introduced Sydney and Dan, and you guys, of course, know Jerome.
That's it.
So you guys have any questions and concerns? So I would ask one favor of you guys. I really appreciate you coming, because there's a lot of time and effort put into this. Please educate your neighbors, because the biggest complaint I get the minute construction starts is how dirty and how nasty it is. And people don't understand when I try to explain to them it's construction. It's going to be that. It's not going to be that forever. It's going to change. It's going to get better. So when they come, sometimes I want to say, well, I had a town hall meeting. You got the flyer, why you didn't come? This was the time. Because once construction starts, there's no more questions now. 'Cause I'm in the construction mode now. I'm actually building this project. So now this is a 10-year project. So this came into conception 10 years ago. So a lot of thought has went into this, and a lot of hard work and effort. And I just need people to understand that when they come to my office, be like, well, it's noisy, it's dirty, it's this, it's that. And understand that's what it's gonna be. But at the end, look at what you get. You get better flows, you get less flooded basements. This pump station will catch about 5,000 homes in the city of Inkster flow. That's a good thing. So help me get that word out. I appreciate it.
Also, too, I want to say, as a classroom teacher, a lot of people are not going to understand anything until the project starts. So be flexible and open mind
I will.
to answer questions for them, because as the project gets under the way and under construction, more questions will come up. And you just have to be flexible to answer those questions. Not that I know I have been there ever since '63, not as a citizen that does not concern, but you're still going to have questions. And I think you should be flexible enough when questions come up. Say, yes, it will be noisy. It is going to take some time, because I didn't know at the beginning. I kept thinking, because I was telling my son, and I was asking him to come to the meeting, and he said, Mother, when you gone, I won't get off of work until late. But, I see that that's going to be a 15-month something project. So I know it's going to be a lot of times that some of the questions, and I guess one of the things that I know as well, when I first moved on my street, all of the people that on there was teachers. And now it's most of the people is renting out those homes that people don't come and they are not caring about their property. All they care about is to get that check from the renters every month. But I think people that's been there the longest, like I have, are concerned about, because my value of my home goes down if everybody else's house go down around me.
Right.
So.
And this will increase the value.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that,
understand
and
that,
a
right.
lot of people that's in those homes are renters. They are not the original owners of those homes there no longer.
Well, one thing I take pride in my staff, Ms. Ruth, she does an excellent job. She's managing all these projects out here, about $150 million worth of projects, and she does an excellent job. And when people come to see it, she does take her time and explain it to her. What bothers me, and when I have to get involved with, when it's the irate citizen.
Well, Sergio, and you know
Yeah.
human beings are like that.
Yeah,
So you have to
yeah.
be flexible.
Right.
And take some course in compassion
Right.
and kindness and gentleness.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been teaching for 61 years.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm telling you.
But the one thing I can say about my staff as a whole, Ms. Triffin, my deputy, my project manager, they're very compassionate and they understand and they listen. But I just ask people to be respectful of them.
And they should be.
Right.
And the people that come in, the most outraged people are the people that are not involved. You know, like me.
You mostly,
you know
yeah, we
me.
know you. We know you.
I am up there.
One of us know your address somewhere. When we see you, she be like, "Oh, that's the lady that lives."
66666.
So,
But I
Yeah.
think, you know, I come with questions
Yes,
and concerns
yes.
because I'm a citizen.
Mhm.
And I said I wish I had moved out of the city a long time ago, but I didn't.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm here. So I
Right.
want my property to be taken care of
Uh-huh.
because I put a value on it, you know. That's
but
all
ain't you
I
glad?
got.
But
That's
ain't you
true.
glad you stayed?
Mhm.
As
And I
you
think the people that, homeowners are the people that are really concerned in the
Yeah.
city of Inkster and want some environment in their city and some improvement in their city. Because I'm very concerned, you know. Like I said, I've been teaching 61 years. I don't see any youth and young people coming into our area, and I'm very concerned about that. As a teacher in the district that taught many years, and every time our children get old enough, they move out. Because
But
they
that's
don't
what
have-
we're trying to change
Okay.
by improving the infrastructure, giving people a reason to bring businesses here. Because the one thing they ask when they come, what's your infrastructure like? That's the
Business,
first question.
schools, what are some of the best?
Young people, yep.
Absolutely.
They want to know what's the water like, what's the sewer, the sanitary, because those are hot topics now because we get 100-year rains and we get floods.
That's true.
So we're trying to tackle that. Yep. But I really appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to come. I'm really thankful.
Sorry,
Thank you.
nobody else is here.
That's okay. That's okay.
I already told her that when people start calling, asking questions, I was gonna tell them to call. Like, call Mrs. Costa, she'll give you all the answers.
She'll give it to you in teacher style.
Yeah.
If you get out of order, she got that ruler.
I never had to use that. Never. All my students will tell you, Mrs. Costa, never I use, I said, your brains is up here, not back here. And my two children will tell you that too.
So thank you.
But thank you for the information too. I said, when I saw that, yeah. So I'm glad that I came and glad when it's under construction, and I know it will take some time. That's true.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. I'll go pull the car out, because I guess they finished.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
you will have that part to walk.
Oh, okay.
I had to pull the car up. And you getting that?
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good evening.
And thank you guys for the
Thank you.
invitation. Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
I I'm going nowhere.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you guys for